There's something curious, and even unsettling, about the world of luxury. The more expensive an object seems, the more people try to justify why someone bought it. Never, they should be able to pay for it. But at the same time, these are the same people who can't take their eyes off handbags that cost the price of a house. It's almost a modern paradox, criticizing luxury, but feeling that little pang of desire when you see someone strutting around with $1 million item on their arm. And this internal conflict says a lot about how our emotions, our self-esteem, and even our secret ambitions work. The truth is, nobody wants an expensive bag just because it's pretty. The desire stems from something much deeper, the longing to feel part of a world where everything seems possible. Because deep down, everyone has had that moment when they wondered, when will I have something extraordinary in my life? It doesn't have to be $1 million bag, but something that makes you feel proud, powerful, fulfilled, and some people find that in the most iconic pieces ever created. That's the point where luxury ceases to be a purchase and becomes an achievement. And maybe you're here precisely for that reason. Out of curiosity, admiration, inspiration, or even to understand what makes someone pay absurdly high prices for an item that fits in the palm of their hand. But I promise you one thing. When you understand the story behind these bags, everything starts to make sense. So turn on notifications, subscribe to the channel, and come with me, because today you're going to discover the secret universe of 10 most expensive handbags in the world, and what they reveal about ourselves. There's something almost hypnotic about the way humans connect with certain objects. Since ancient times, the desire for rare and exclusive items has always been a way of telling who we are, or who we would like to be. Handbags, especially in the luxury world, have ceased to be simple accessories, and have become true statements of identity. When a woman chooses a high-value handbag, she is not just buying leather and stitching. She is acquiring a story, a silent symbol of achievement and belonging. The fascination with these objects goes beyond aesthetics. It touches the emotional territory of, "I deserve it." The bag carries dreams, represents victories, and is often the trophy of a path full of sacrifices and overcoming obstacles. It's curious to see how luxury awakens a paradoxical feeling between desire and guilt, between admiration and criticism. But that's precisely where the power of luxury lies. It provokes. It makes you think. It stirs something internal, that impulse to be seen, recognized, and celebrated. Think of a handbag as a time capsule. It carries memories, status, and even legacy. It's not uncommon to see mothers passing their iconic handbags to daughters, like handing over a family heirloom. Every scratch, every detail, carries a story. And it is, at this point, that the journey begins that leads us to the most expensive and symbolic creations on the planet. After all, behind every $1 million handbag, there is more than just an object. There is a hand-stitched myth. And the first of these myths has a name and surname: Hermès Birkin. Hermès Birkin, the living myth of luxury. The Birkin is not just a bag. It's almost a mystical entity within the universe of luxury. It was born from a chance encounter on an airplane, when Jane Birkin complained to the then president of Hermès that she couldn't find a bag that was both practical and elegant. From this unassuming conversation, an object emerged that transcended fashion and became a global status symbol. Each Birkin is handmade by a single artisan, which transforms the piece into something almost personal, as if it carries the energy of its creator and the history it represents. What's curious is how the Birkin bag has become a kind of invisible social passport. Whoever carries one, without saying a word, communicates to the world that they have reached a rare level of success, refinement, and patience. Yes, patience. Because a Birkin isn't simply bought by walking into a store. It requires time, relationships, and often a recommendation. It's almost a rite of passage, and it's this process, full of silent filters, that makes the person feel part of an extremely select club. There are accounts of people who spent years waiting for the long-awaited opportunity to acquire one. Others traveled to Paris just to try their luck at the legendary store on Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré. And when they finally hold the Birkin in their hands, the feeling is the same as achieving a personal milestone. But what's most fascinating is that it opens up a deeper understanding of luxury. The value lies in the history, the process, and what it evokes in people. And this logic also shapes another iconic piece from the same maison, a bag that bears the name of a princess, and an even quieter legacy, a Hermès Kelly. Hermès Kelly, the bag of royalty and elegant silence. Kelly wasn't born famous, but she became a legend almost unintentionally. Initially created as a structured everyday bag, it only gained worldwide notoriety when Grace Kelly, then Princess of Monaco, used the accessory to try and hide her pregnancy from photographers. The image went around the world, and the discreet and sophisticated piece came to carry a mixture of mystery, romance, and power. It's interesting to observe how such a human gesture, protecting one's own privacy, transformed the bag into an eternal symbol of elegance. While the Birkin bag loudly proclaims exclusivity, the Kelly bag whispers. It has an almost aristocratic aura, a beauty that needs no explanation. The structured shape, the iconic clasp, and the meticulous craftsmanship make each piece seem to have been molded for a queen. And in a way, it was. It's no wonder that many women describe the feeling of carrying a Kelly bag as holding a piece of fashion history itself, something that transcends trends and survives the test of time, with the serenity of someone who already knows its worth. A rare fact is that artisans spend years training before touching a Kelly bag, precisely to guarantee the almost real quality of the piece. And those who choose it tend to have a more reserved personality, more focused on details, and less interested in showing off. It's the kind of bag that wins you over with its "if you know approach. And it's in this interplay of symbols and meanings that we enter a territory where rarity literally shines, a Chanel diamond forever, a work that redefines what we call extreme luxury. Chanel diamond forever, when classic meets the unattainable. The Chanel diamond. Forever is one of those bags that seems to have been created not just to be used, but to be admired. Imagine the classic Chanel flap, the same one that has spanned generations, now reinterpreted with white crocodile, leather and diamonds encrusted in the clasp. It's as if the Maison decided to elevate the concept of timeless to the level of rare jewelry. Very few units were produced, and this means that whoever owns it is literally holding a piece of history. More than an accessory, it has become a collector's item, almost an amulet of extreme luxury. The combination of traditional design with precious stones creates a powerful contrast. Simplicity and extravagance walk hand in hand. It's the kind of bag that needs no introduction because its presence speaks for itself. At auctions, collectors compete for this model with the same intensity as those seeking works by Picasso, revealing how much the world of luxury can blend with that of art. It's curious to observe how, even being excessively valuable, it maintains an almost shy elegance. Nothing about it is excessive. Everything is precise. Every detail seems designed to immortalize the legacy of Coco Chanel, that woman who believed that luxury must be comfortable, otherwise it is not luxury. And it is precisely on this border between glitz and discretion that we enter the next piece, one that conquered Hollywood stars and transformed red carpet appearances into moments of pure sophistication. A Lana Marks Cleopatra clutch. Lana Marks Cleopatra clutch. The secret of Hollywood stars. The Cleopatra clutch. By Lana Marks is one of those bags that seems to have been created to appear only at the right moments, like a secret discreetly shared among Hollywood's biggest stars. Each piece is produced in extremely limited quantities, and only one celebrity per year has the privilege of using it at the Oscars. This detail alone transforms the bag into such a sharp symbol of exclusivity that it borders on inaccessible. It's as if it was made to shine in front of the cameras and disappear soon after, leaving only the myth in the air. What makes this clutch so fascinating is the combination of rare materials with a design that seems sculpted to exude confidence. White gold, diamonds, platinum, and exotic leathers come together in a work that is anything but random. Lana Marks, before becoming a designer, was a personal friend of Princess Diana, and this proximity to the world of royalty profoundly influenced her aesthetic vision. It's no wonder that the world's greatest actresses choose it for pivotal moments, because it's not just a bag, but an extension of the very narrative of the person who uses it. And there's something even more intriguing. According to the brand, each clutch takes months to be made, as it is entirely handcrafted. This waiting time reinforces the feeling of possessing not just a fashion item, but an almost ritualistic possession. When an actress holds this piece on the red carpet, there's a silent understanding that it's not just an accessory, but a symbol of power, rarity, and legacy. And this path of grandeur leads us to an even more extraordinary level, where luxury surpasses all known limits. Mouawad, 1001. Knight's Diamond Purse, the most expensive bag ever created. Mouawad, 1001. Knight's Diamond Purse, the work of art that shines brighter than gold. The Mouawad, 1001. Knight's diamond purse is so extraordinary that it seems to have been created to defy the very logic of luxury. With over 4,000 encrusted diamonds, white, yellow, and pink, it possesses a brilliance that doesn't belong to the everyday, but to the realm of the impossible. Every detail seems to have been sculpted to tell a story, worthy of Oriental tales, where golden palaces and secret treasures coexist side by side. It's no wonder it earned a Guinness World Record as the most expensive handbag in the world, solidifying its place as an artifact that transcends fashion and becomes pure, tangible fantasy. When someone holds this bag, they are not merely touching a precious object. They are holding hundreds of hours of handcrafted work, centuries-old techniques, and the visionary eye of the most iconic jeweler in the Middle East. It is the kind of piece rarely seen in public. It lives in vaults, private museums, or family collections that accumulate stories rather than just material possessions. And this reinforces an interesting point. Some bags were not made to be used, but to be venerated, like jewels that, instead of adorning the body, adorn the imagination. What's most enchanting is that, even though it's exuberant, it carries a symbolic message. To represent love, desire, and enchantment, like in the ancient stories of 1001 Nights. And those who observe this piece attentively realize that it awakens something almost childlike, that feeling of pure wonder in the face of the extraordinary. But the world of luxury also knows how to play with contrasts, and right after such a dazzling work, a piece emerges that defies all aesthetic expectations and provokes profound reflections on value and meaning. A Louis Vuitton urban satchel. Louis Vuitton urban satchel. The luxury of irony and provocation. The Louis Vuitton urban satchel is probably the most controversial piece on this list. Made from urban waste, such as plastic bottles, cigarette butts, and crumpled paper, it challenges everything we understand about beauty and sophistication. When the brand launched this creation, many were shocked, others laughed, and some applauded the audacity. But, at its core, the urban satchel exposes an uncomfortable truth. Luxury is also narrative, and sometimes that narrative provokes more than it enchants. It's as if LV said, "Want exclusivity? Then here's something no one would dare copy." Many celebrities have been seen with this model, precisely because it invites conversation. Nothing about it evokes traditional glamour, and perhaps that's exactly the point. The urban satchel exposes the paradox of contemporary luxury, paying a high price for what seems cheap. And yet, it has earned a place in history for representing a silent and very intelligent critique of rampant consumerism. When someone decides to use this bag, they are not displaying wealth, they are displaying an opinion. And in the world of celebrities, opinion is sometimes worth even more than diamonds. What's most interesting is how this piece shows that value lies not only in the material, but in the meaning it carries. And this prepares us for a change of direction in our journey through luxury. After provocation and elegant satire, a creation emerges that returns to the territory of pure fantasy, enchanting with its delicacy and brilliance. A Judith Leiber, Precious Rose, a bag that looks like it was picked from a garden made of crystal. Judith Leiber, Precious Rose, the crystal handbag that looks like a dream. The Judith Leiber, Precious Rose is one of those bags that takes anyone's breath away for a second. Molded entirely in the shape of a rose, each petal is covered in hand-applied Swarovski crystals, as if every detail had been carefully crafted by an artisan who knows the secret of transforming sparkle into poetry. It's not an ordinary bag. It's almost a jewel you carry in your hands. And when someone sees it for the first time, the feeling is like finding an object that has fallen from a fairy tale. The most curious thing is that Judith Leiber, the creator, never thought of her bags as secondary accessories. For her, each piece was a small sculpture, a work that should evoke joy, enchantment, and even a touch of humor. And that's exactly what the Precious Rose does. It invites the wearer to remember that luxury can also be light, fun, and playful. It's the kind of bag that transforms simple appearances into memorable moments, perfect for those who understand that style is also a state of mind. Despite its small size, it carries a gigantic presence. On red carpets, it always steals the show. In private collections, it becomes the protagonist. And anywhere in the world, it awakens smiles and admiration. But while some pieces shine through their playful nature, others gain value through tradition and impeccable craftsmanship. And it is precisely on this more artisanal, more intimate path, deeply connected to time, that we arrive at the next masterpiece, at Fendi Selleria, a silent tribute to the art of making everything by hand. Fendi Selleria. The charm of craftsmanship and time made, in Mo. The Fendi Selleria is living proof that true luxury lies not only in glitz, but in the human touch that gives soul to each piece. Created with techniques originating from ancient Roman saddlers, it carries centuries of tradition in every stitch. It's impressive to see how a bag can convey a sense of past and present simultaneously, as if it were always in dialogue with time. Holding a Selleria feels a different kind of connection. It's not about showing off, but about appreciating the care that no one sees, but everyone feels. The leather used in this model is handcrafted, undergoing processes that demand patience and precision. It's the kind of bag that isn't born ready-made. It matures. It gains personality as it's used, absorbing stories, scents, travels, moments, and this characteristic makes it a symbol of identity, almost like a silent diary that accompanies the person's life. Some say that a Selleria truly lives with its owner, creating a relationship similar to that of objects that become part of the family. It's curious to observe how, even without extravagant glitter or rare diamonds, it achieves such high value. Precisely because it delivers something that money can't easily buy: time. Time for creation, time for life, time for memory. And it's on this border between the material and the emotional that we arrive at the final point of this journey. After all, after so many extraordinary scholarships, an inevitable question arises. And it's this question that leads us to the next topic. Why would someone pay millions for a scholarship? Why would someone pay millions for a handbag? a reflection on value and desire. When someone spends millions on a handbag, the transaction is rarely just about the physical object. What's being bought is a set of sensations: belonging, recognition, rarity, history. Ultimately, humankind has always sought external symbols to represent internal achievements. And in the world of luxury, these symbols become more tangible. $1 million handbag is less about carrying personal items and more about carrying a message, a kind of silent signature of their own success. There's also the psychological factor of exclusivity. The rarer something is, the more desirable it is. It's the logic of almost nobody can have it. And this logic affects deep parts of the mind, activating emotional triggers linked to self-esteem, ambition, and even social status. A person who buys this type of item isn't just acquiring a product. They're acquiring a story they can tell, and often a place in an invisible circle where few can enter. It's like a work of art. Its value isn't in the material, but in the narrative built around it. Finally, there's the emotional and financial investment. Some of these bags appreciate over time, others become family heirlooms, and some simply fuel the feeling that life can be extraordinary in its details. Ultimately, it's not about the bag. It's about what it awakens within the person. And it's precisely this combination of desire, history, and emotion that continues to fuel the luxury market. Now, after this journey through the world of the most coveted items on the planet, a new layer of reflection emerges, preparing the ground for the next step in this journey. After exploring the world of the most expensive handbags, it's impossible not to reflect on what's truly at stake when we talk about luxury. It's not just about rare leather, crystals, or diamonds. It's about the value you place on yourself, the dreams you still hold dear, and the achievements you may not even realize you've already attained. Now tell me, which of these stories surprised you the most? Which one made you think differently about desire, exclusivity, or even your own ambitions? Sometimes all we need is a symbol, not necessarily a bag, but a landmark, to remind us who we are and how far we can go. And I honestly ask you, what will your next step be after understanding the logic behind these coveted objects? What haven't you allowed yourself to desire yet? How far do you think you can go if you stop limiting yourself to, "It's too much for me"? This kind of reflection opens doors, breaks down barriers, and, above all, ignites that good desire to evolve. So before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these bags would you like to see up close someday? Or which one would you simply never have the courage to carry? I really want to know your opinion. And of course, if this content made you think, inspired you, or sparked that curiosity, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's a lot of good stuff coming, and I want to walk with you on this journey towards the extraordinary.